Did you go back and find those shares
That's
because of the
exactly
questions
right.
that were sent? Because, I mean, was it a situation where you just wanted to be out of it? Or?
No. I had been working on it for a while, and finally the shares came through. But the fact is, whether the stock went up or down after that had nothing to do with anything. And indeed, the stock is higher now than it was when I sold them.
Right, but what's more troubling, Wilbur, is that you're still dealing with all these countries and being tough with them, and the thrust of the Forbes piece is that your family's going to benefit from these investments that you call them divested, and maybe you're not making decisions now, but if you continue, if you still have an interest in what happens, and there are...
I have no.
It's not in a family trust? It's not in a family trust?
Yeah, it is in a family trust, and so were holdings of many prior cabinet people. Anybody who's had a substantial portfolio for years and years and years has gone into trust. This one is even more severe in that we can never have any economic interest. In many prior cases, there was so-called blind trust, which this also is, meaning simply that the cabinet person didn't know the transactions that were occurring. Well, that's true here, but it's also true that I have no economic interest now and never can in the future. So it's actually a more strict arrangement than many prior cabinet people
This article seems to think you still have an interest, or that your family still has an interest in Navigator. Is that correct?
Well, they do until the trustees make whatever decision they do about selling.
That's been divested in the. So there's some Navigator in the trust as well that actually wasn't sold, but it was just divested into the trust.
No, the Navigator was actually sold in the open market. It was a readily saleable share. Many of the holdings I have are not readily saleable, and those are the ones that went into the trust, the illiquid ones.
So there's not a Navigator.
No, there is, but it's not the same type of security that you were able to sell. It's a different type of a Navigator security that was illiquid that's now in the trust.
No, what's in the trust are the residual interests in certain of the private equity funds that left from my work before.
Okay.
The ones that were readily saleable, I sold to a third party, a professional investor. The ones that were not saleable are the ones that got put into the family trust. But even if everything had been put into the trust, it still is one that has been used time immemorial, is clearly an appropriate thing to do. So if Forbes wants to rewrite the way the government handles things, that's fine. The reporter's entitled to his opinion. But to make an allegation that there's something inappropriate about a practice that's a very commonplace practice and has been done in prior administrations as well is simply silly.
How about there's a lot of stuff in the article, Wilbur. The China sovereign investment with the fund, the China Investment Corp. It seems to imply that you were trying to curry favor with the Chinese government to get a sovereign fund to invest in your fund that you're managing, and then you get a lot of fees, and you get to charge for managing the money. And that was apparently implied here, just to curry favor with the Chinese government. And this is still part of a family trust too now. Is that, if I got that right, or this is gone now? Because it would seem that would cause you to go easy, let's say, with China, so that they wouldn't withdraw the funds from the sovereign funds from your fund.
Well, first of all, they can't withdraw them because the funds are partnerships that go on and on and on. These are not open-end mutual funds. If they were, it would have been very easy simply to redeem out.
Okay.
So that's also a mischaracterization of the activity. It is true that the CIC had been one of our investors. So have been a large number of state pension funds, large number of city pension funds, some universities, lots of foundations. We've had a very large number of institutional investors over the years. There's nothing very unusual about that at all. That's a normal thing in the private equity world. But I have no beneficial interest in any of those situations.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.